And we are back at 7:09. How appropriate is it to have on the District Attorney of Nassau County? This, of course, on the heels of a massive bust. Yesterday, 24 more people arrested. Of course, Madeline had her own doing in Nassau about 5-6 weeks ago. We welcome her back to the program. I haven't spoken to her in a while. Madeline, how are you?
Great, Jay. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
It is a pleasure to have you on here. And, of course, we spoke about it a lot already this morning. 24 arrested, Madeline, yesterday. I remember in your neck of the woods, if I remember correctly, it was an individual from his home in Pittsburgh, if I remember, 3.5 kilos, pretty much confiscated there, a big-time drug ring, over $1 million in narcotics hitting the streets in mid-June.
Yeah, that was in June. That was one of two major drug busts that we had in Nassau County. That one, we were stopping drugs, about 3.5 kilos of heroin that were about to enter Nassau County. We did it with a lot of assistance from New York State Police, Suffolk County Police, Port Authority, Pennsylvania, U.S. Marshals, DEA. We all have to work together to stop this poison from hitting our streets. And just recently, just a few weeks ago, we announced the arrest of 31 individuals where we dismantled a significant drug network operating here on the island. And that was probably one of the largest narcotics takedowns in the county in decades. So these are two major disruptions to the operation of large-scale suppliers.
Madeline, is it tough to kind of intertwine both? You had in the last couple of weeks, we saw Tom Spota saying, 40, I think it was actually 38 now officially arrested based on the 24 yesterday in the mid-June arrests. Is this all one massive ring? Are they separate? Are they intertwined in any way here?
They're pretty much separate. What we saw, separate drug operations. For us, the last one we did with the 31, we had, at least one common supplier. So it's an interesting way. Each one of these represented its own individual operation, linked sometimes by a common supplier or sometimes by not. The truth of the matter is there's a lot of product entering the county, and there's a lot of people stepping up who want to sell the stuff and profit. And make no mistake, the profits are huge. There's a lot of money involved. And in that last takedown, not only did we took a lot of money, over $250,000, 3 kilos of cocaine, but here comes the violent part: 6 firearms, 3 which we believe are assault rifles, 2 bulletproof vests, secret vehicles with secret traps in them where they transport money and drugs. Very sophisticated operations that we need a lot of resources, a lot of intelligence, and just a lot of man and woman power to make sure that we get these guys off the street.
And you talk about some of the hiding places here. I was at the press conference last week. It's amazing, some of the technology. You hate to be amazed when you see this stuff, but you kind of have to open your eyes a little bit more. Regarding nightstands that open up, fish tanks on top of stands with the top opening up based on a magnetic strip placed on that particular stand. It was almost, I hate to say, ingenious on this stuff.
Absolutely. We always have to stay one step ahead because you never know. I'm just amazed to find where we find drugs. And thank goodness for our canine partners, because our dogs are well trained and they can get to places sometimes that we can't, and their keen sense of smell helps us root out a lot of these drugs, but we couldn't do it on our own. It's incredible how really resourceful these drug dealers are when it comes to hiding their drugs.
No question. We're talking with Madeline Singas, the fine district attorney, of course, out of Nassau County. Now it's all trying to now continue the investigation, a very dangerous one, I am sure, for many of personnel out there as far as the starting point. That's really where you want to see some action now. The rings dismantled big time, big way here. Hopefully a lot of lives will be saved. But right now, where did this all come from? I'm sure that's going to be the focal point here.
Yeah, absolutely. The last one that we did, 5 large-scale suppliers, right? And we're charging them as major traffickers. So just so your listeners have an idea of what that is, we're alleging that they were dealing between $2 to $3 million worth of heroin and cocaine on our streets in the last 4 months alone. So in only 4 months, we're talking about $2 to $3 million of drugs hitting the streets. So these are huge operations. These are not, just one-off sales. These are huge operations that we're taking down, and we keep getting higher and higher up in these organizations so that we can choke off the supply. Once we take down 31 people, that's a major disruption. And we're going to continue doing that. We're going to continue working with our law enforcement partners. We're going to continue working together, sharing our intelligence, sharing every investigative tool that we have so that we can make sure that we're keeping this stuff off our streets. I mean, Jay, there's probably no one that's listening to this that doesn't have a family member or knows someone who has a family member who's addicted to heroin. It's epidemic here on the island, and we're working hard to stop it. And that's one way, stopping the supply. Again, we're working hard on education, because if we can prevent people from becoming addicted, if we can prevent heroin use in the beginning before it takes hold of an individual's life, that's the first step to tackling the problem. So we're in our schools. We're talking to kids and their parents, and we're also working on treatment, because, again, we have to help addicts get treatment they need by directing them to the available resources and closing the treatment gap and making sure that they can kick this really addictive and destructive habit.